This is a review of the Yamaha AG03 microphone interface and mixer. You may ask yourself, well, a mixer like this, who is this exactly built for? This is a great option if you happen to have a desk at home that you can work from permanently where you can set it up. Let's say if you like analog microphones, the old style, anything that plugs in via analog cord as opposed to digital USB microphones. And you want a certain level of control. So you'll see here that you've got a fader control for your microphone volume. There's a gain to adjust the input balance. And a few other things here. There's a compression EQ, a reverb, and a hardwire mute switch. There's also controls for your speakers. So let's say if you have some external speakers that you're driving, some powered speakers, this gives you individual control over the speakers and also any headphone outputs you might have. So let's take a look at some of the options that this gives us built into the unit itself. It does come with an app. The app controls both the equalization, compression, there's reverb, but we wouldn't recommend you using that for Zoom, as well as a few other things. The nice thing about this particular unit is, though, that the app is controlling the digital signal processor, or DSP, on board the mixer itself. It's not creating a bit stream that's going to your computer, requiring a computer to do the processing, and then sending that back. There's consequentially almost no delay, and there's no processing power required of an external computer. It's all done on the DSP. Also, any changes you make on the app, once you have put these in place, you find a equalization that you like, you can close the app or delete it. It doesn't matter because those are on board the DSP in the mixer and they no longer require the app. So let's have a look at what the app gives us. When you open up the app, this is what you'll see. It'll give you what looks like a few waves here. You've got compression and equalization. There's also a level control for, you can pan it left and right, but would recommend that you leave it centered so that people hear your voice out of both speakers on Zoom if they've got that in stereo. So let's have a look first at the equalization settings for your microphone. This happens to be where I like to have my microphone equalization settings, and I'll use the switch here to take it in and out. So this is obviously with the EQ and compression in. Hardwire switch, this is what it looks like and sounds like with the EQ and compression taken out of the loop. You probably hear a little background motor noise from a fan or two that I've got going here that my EQ was trying to notch out. But you say, well, that might be a little difficult to first put in place to understand how that all works. Well, fortunately, you can make choices here. As you see on the bottom, you've got the ability to choose something based on your voice. So if you've got a high voice speech, myself, I would choose, not headphones here, but a low voice speech. So they're setting for both microphone and headphones. And if you click that, you can see that the preset goes in, and that gives you a good place to start. Once you have decided on a place that you, or a certain setting that you like, you can save those settings. I'm going to go back to mine right now. Load a settings file. I come back to EQ, and it's back to my personal settings. So you can take the EQ in and out. You can hear this with it out, and here's back on. High pass filter is doing just as the name implies, HPF, high pass filter. It's passing the high frequencies, but it's rolling off the low frequencies here. That's what you're seeing. So if I take the high pass off, now you're hearing all the low frequencies, and Lord knows I've got enough low frequencies in my voice. I don't need it anymore, so I'm going to put that back in. You can make adjustments individually. You just click on one of these 4 positions here. You can move it. The cue is how narrow that particular area is. Again, once customized, any and all of these settings can be saved, and they're saved not on the app on your computer, but they're saved on the mixer itself. So going back to the mixer, let's look at the compression here. Again, there's presets, and I recommend using the presets. They're pretty good for the speech patterns. What a compressor does is it makes sure that your voice doesn't get too loud. You'll notice how it brought it down, or too soft. It will tend to bring up the volume level when you're speaking a little more softly. This makes it easier for folks on the other end of that Zoom call to understand you because you're never getting too soft or too loud. There are a few other settings here. If you go back, there is a reverb setting. We don't recommend that you use reverb. Reverb adds some echo or some appearance of echo into your voice, and this would be for, say, you're singing and you want to mock an environment as if you were singing in a hall, in a room, concert hall or something like that. Obviously not appropriate for Zoom use. Just to get an idea what the noise floor is like on this particular unit, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect my microphone so that you can hear the noise, and then you'll see me raise both the gain and the fader all the way up. This will give you an idea of what the noise floor is like on the microphone, or I'm sorry, on the mixer itself. That was a test of the noise floor on the mixer itself. There are a couple of other things here that are important to note. You'll see I've got a couple of cables leading out. Those are to my powered speakers, which sit behind my monitors here at my desk. That gives me the ability to send the Zoom audio out, or any other audio for that matter, to the powered speakers so that I can hear nicely. Key to making that work is this switch right here, mix minus. So this ensures that none of the audio that's coming in from your microphone here ends up going into your speakers. So this avoids feedback. So you want to make sure that the mix minus is depressed right there fully. Explanation of the knobs here. So you can see the speaker icon there. This controls the volume of your speakers. So it's nice to have a tactile knob for that rather than have to hunt and peck for it in your software operating system. And likewise, if you're using headphones, so let's say you want to ensure that the persons on the other end of your Zoom call have the best quality audio, there's absolutely no feedback, no other noises involved, what you would do is put on a pair of earbuds or headphones. I use earbuds myself. I found them more comfortable. And then go ahead and turn down all the way your local speakers, and you can adjust the volume of your headphones right here. There is a direct mini plug for your headphones here, or you can use the larger 1/4 inch plug if you happen to have that. This is an either or situation, so you can't use both plugs at the same time. If I plug my earbuds, let's say, in right there, it will shunt the other 1/4 inch, so you can't use them simultaneously. But it's nice to have both as a convenience factor. Let's go ahead and turn that back up. The streaming output here, so this is what you're sending from the mixer back to your computer and therefore Zoom. So right now I've got it set to input mix. You'll notice there's a switch above that that says dry. Channel 1, 2. So if I switch it to dry, now you can hear the difference. There's no EQ, nothing. It's straight microphone right into Zoom. Personally, I like a little EQ to get rid of that fan noise I've got in the room. So that's it for the Yamaha AG03. Great little mixer for the price. It's about the same price or less than some other analog microphone interfaces, but it gives you the advantage of driving your external speakers nicely. It's got the mix minus, so you don't have to worry about feedback. Headphone outputs, it's got all the analog controls in front of it. So it offers a lot of advantages. If you want to put your fingers on the button directly, you can mute yourself out hardwire mute switch, so no question of whether your voice is being sent or not. Also, it offers, in that respect, some privacy because you've got a hardwire switch. You have some added privacy. You can delete the app once you've got settings that you like, so there's no concern about the app taking any of your user information and transmitting that back to the manufacturer or other entities beyond your control. You can simply delete it, and it doesn't exist on your computer any longer. The only negative I would say, and that's up for debate, is that this requires external power. So there's 2 USB connections on the back. One goes into your computer so you can feed the audio from your microphone into your Zoom calls and also receive the audio back for your powered speakers. And the other is for a standard 5-volt power input. So you need a little iPhone cube or similar to power the unit. The advantage of that is that you're not asking your laptop to power the unit. So a lot of these items require, these external devices require high-powered USB ports, which you may not have very many of, or if you've got, you may need a dock, let's say, in order to power some of these other devices because they require so much in the way of power, the high-power USB ports. This device does not. It's got its own power, and that's not an issue. So it's not demanding anything of your laptop. Well, that's all for the Yamaha AG03. Hope you found this review useful. Good luck.